Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Lagged Out Podcast episode 65, how to start a content creation career and overcoming its obstacles. My name's Adam. This is Joe. Hey, Joe.
God Gamer.
Oh, my gosh. And today we have a special guest with us from our community, the guy that actually designed the Probably Got This website and the number one troll of the community, Machine.
Question, Adam.
Yeah, what's up?
How special would you say this special guest is?
Pretty special, because he has been asking to be on the podcast since we started the podcast last year.
I just needed to make sure.
Oh my god!
Because we can't have phonies on here. It's like, oh, the special guest, but they're not really that special. So
next week,
as long as he checks out.
Next week it'll be your mom, so we'll get her on the podcast.
That's extra special.
I know, but this is
she would do it too. She would.
Oh my gosh! Well, this is Machine. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Live from the Ash Pit.
Live from the Ash Pit.
Been here for a year.
I really hope some people from our ESO community watch this so they can get that reference. If you don't play ESO, that's from me apparently leaving Machine in the Ash Pit, a PvP zone, technically in ESO. But
wow, horrible friend.
I know.
Yeah, apparently I'm terrible, but yeah. So Machine, we wanted to bring you on for the podcast mainly because you've been asking for over a year, but also, you definitely have some really good knowledge on this field in general. You've had some past experience with YouTube, but mainly with your marketing expertise. So I just kind of wanted to ask if you wanted to kind of give a brief background on what you've done, with marketing, with YouTube, kind of all that together. So.
Sure. So like anything else that I've pretty much shot for in my life, it all started with gaming. When I was a kid, I grew up in a city that was more suburb, and then my dad decided he wanted to be a cowboy one day, and he moved us up to the country off some dirt road. And I didn't have any friends, and but I was a gamer, and started gaming a lot and learning about how to design websites. My grandpa bought me a computer when I was 12. And we're talking OG computers, so nothing special, onboard video. And I was huge into anime, like Dragon Ball and whatnot. So yeah. I started going to all these Dragon Ball websites, and I was like, oh man, I want my own website. I want to showcase my images and my favorite characters. So I taught myself HTML when I was 14. And it kind of dominoed as a hobby and ended up turning into a career. I didn't end up going to college. I just kept doing web design, graphic design, obviously kept gaming. And when the MMO scene started getting big with Ultima Online and EverQuest, I hopped on that train, spent a lot of years that I'll never get back, but that were well spent, playing, meeting a lot of cool people online, raiding. And then it eventually just kind of domino affected into a career. Like I said, I didn't go to college. Started doing web design and graphic design for actually a really large plastic surgery company. And, from there, I started getting into doing video and the business side of marketing versus just the actual design. And pretty much ended up spending from age 17 to where I'm at now, which is my late 30s. In the wonderful world of advertising.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a Dragon Ball fan, Joe. So that definitely has a special place in your heart.
I have ears. So.
I know you have ears. No, that's awesome. And Joe, do you have anything to say about that? Or I was going to say something, but it looked like you were about to comment because I can't remember. I can see you, but you can't see me. So
I can sense what you're doing.
Oh my gosh!
I was gonna make a joke about the plastic surgery thing with you being bald, but I'm not gonna do that.
With me being bald?
Adam needs a hair transplant.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's what I was gonna make basically.
Oh
hair club for
could you
bras.
hook him up?
Hair club for bras. Wow.
Yeah.
No, but that is awesome. And yeah, and didn't you said you did a video channel for SWOTOR, right? A long time ago, right? You
yes.
said or is that am I thinking of something else?
No, so I mean, basically, so I it's coming up in my career, everything's going great, and then this wonderful thing called 2008, 2009 happened, where if any of you remember, was a huge crash of our economy. I live in the Detroit area. The big three were going bankrupt. So Chevy or GM rather, Ford, Chrysler, they're all going under. I had never been unemployed in my life, but the company I was working for was not doing good because when people don't have money, they don't get plastic surgery. So I got laid off, and it was like, I think I was like 26 or 27 at the time, and I had a mortgage and a car payment, and so I was looking for a job, but no one was hiring. So that was just when YouTube was starting to become a thing. So any of you guys who've been watching Twitch or YouTube for a long time, you probably remember guys like Towley and Swifty from WoW. This is right around the time they were just getting started. So I was a big WoW player at the time, and I thought, you know what, like maybe I'll make one of these channels and start, putting together tutorial videos for WoW. So I created a channel called Machine Gaming, and basically, this was back when like TGN was a thing, and Twitch was called Justin.tv. Yeah. So my thought process was, if I watch these guys that are, even teenagers, they're making these videos, and these like TGN's picking them up, they're giving them salaries. Maybe I can just make gaming my career. So I started doing videos around WoW. At the time, I was a paladin tank, so I was doing a lot of like tanking tutorial videos. And then it kind of turned into this thing where I was doing all kinds of games. I would play Modern Warfare. I started doing random topics like game deals of the week, and I would, scour the internet for what deals were out there, discounts on Steam, and I would do an informational video about that. I started doing video game reviews, just trying to keep it like really diverse to where I wasn't stuck just on one game. And then SWOTOR started coming out, or was, it was in the process of being developed, and I was one of the early people to get a beta key, and they didn't have an NDA then, so I was creating content around the bounty hunter class, and it took a long time.
But I picked bounty hunter when I played.
What was that?
I said, yo, let's go. I picked bounty hunter when I played.
I know, right? So I started build my channel, and then I got to like 1,000 subscribers, and it was like huge deal, because back then, like if you had 10,000 subscribers, like you could get picked up by TGN. It's not like now where you have to have like 100,000 or 1 million before you really start seeing like really good revenue. And it took me like 7 or 8 months before I got partnered on YouTube, after releasing like tons of videos. And I never got picked up by TGN or anything like that, but it was kind of funny because I couldn't find a job for like 11 months, but it was the month that I found a job, I got my first Google check. Which,
nice. Nice.
It was only like $140, but looking back now and seeing what YouTube turned into and how live streaming kicked off and everything and how people have made it their careers, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm pretty successful in my career and my day job, but I always wonder like if I would have just like said, what, I'm not gonna take that job. I mean, I would have ran out of money, but I was always curious, like, could it have been something more,
Mm-hmm. I remember those days too, because I remember when we started YouTube, or a little bit, it was before me and Joe started the channel, I started doing my own thing. I did my own thing at first just to learn, and I remember like people were partnered with like Machinima, and like it was like a whole different realm. Like it was set up completely different. Now it's like, to be monetized on YouTube, you've got to have 1,000 subscribers, and our channel is actually grandfathered in, but by the time this happened, we were already monetized with Bro, You Got This. But now to be monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and I think you have to have like 1,000 or 4,000 hours of watch time to even be partnered with YouTube, which is kind of a lot, because back in the day it was not like that. I don't even remember what the parameters were. I think it was like literally you almost.
I think it was like 100 subs or something.
Yeah, it was crazy, and so it's really interesting though to get that take, because like. It's grown into a massive thing, which is kind of what we're going to be, discussing today. And, we had one person, who is actually an ESO stream team member, give us a couple questions, because I asked, people in the community or anyone that was interested in content creation or growing content creation or overcoming its obstacles to submit some questions, and kind of want to help anyone else out there listening to this. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel or a content creation career, that can be Twitch, doing websites, graphic design, just any sort of like creating of content on the internet, I hope this will be a good resource because I think we'll be able to give some good pointers. But
I would like to ask the first question if that's okay.
yeah, that's fine.
So before you start any of that, you have to pick a name for your brand or
Yeah.
for yourself, or both technically for some people. So how did you come up with Machine Gaming? Just because like you loved computers and stuff, or?
Well, it was actually like, so my original player name from EverQuest all the way to well into WoW, so probably up to like after Burning Crusade, so it was at Wrath of the Lich King. I played a rogue and my name was Thieve, which was spelled Thiev, and
Right.
but I played a rogue forever, and the guild I was in needed a warrior. And so I created a warrior, and all the names, as you guys know, it's such a pain to try and come up with a name.
Yeah.
I just
really
typed in
is.
machine, and it was available, and I was like, okay, I'll just be machine, because I'm going to be a machine with DPS. That was kind of my initial mindset, and then when so that kind of just became my persona in any game I played. So when I started YouTube, I was kind of like, well, you know, it's me gaming, and my handle's machine, so I just went with machine gaming.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I love that.
Interesting. And then Adam, your like sort of first channel was Fourth Down Gaming, right?
No, it was actually another one. It was actually
Oh, really?
yeah, it was actually SkyCod
Was it
Enthusiast.
Third Down Gaming?
No, it was SkyCod Enthusiast, but I spelled enthusiast wrong. So just from someone who
Big
can't spell
surprise there.
apparently, I know it's for someone who
Yeah,
can't
right.
spell, because I was trying to log in a long time ago, and I was like, man, this isn't working. And then I remember it was like in college. And I was like, oh, it's probably because I spelled enthusiast wrong. But I remember I did 3 RuneScape videos, and it got like 500 plus views, which was really cool back in
Nice.
2011. But yeah, then I made a Fourth Down Gaming channel just because like I thought I was gonna do that. But then we came up with we got this name by just playing Destiny, and literally in like 5 seconds, and it was kind of funny.
Carrying each other.
Yeah, but besides that, after you pick a name though, which is important, which we could spend a whole podcast on naming your channel, but we're going to assume that you've already got a name. The first question, Third Down Gaming, exactly. The first question that Man Cave asked though is how often you should upload. So this would be for like videos. And I mean,
Or like how often you should stream. Or,
yeah. So Joe, do you want to take this one first? Do you have any insight on it? Like,
So that depends on the kind of content that you're doing. If you're doing something like documentaries, for example, you're probably not going to want to do a daily upload unless the documentaries are like 2 minutes long, which I doubt they
not even a
would be if they're documentaries.
that would be like a short documentary or something.
That'd be more like in line with like what's it called, like satire, but it's like factual satire. I don't know if there's like a specific word for that type of like video, but a good example of that would be the True Facts videos by Zifrank, where he gives you actual facts about animals, but he also writes it in a comedic way, where it's like the chameleon has cool alien karate chop hands, and they are used for this and that or whatever. And it's like, yeah, he's calling them like alien hands, but like the purpose of them is actually like factual and stuff.
Okay.
Or like the Joe never opens his PS5.
Yeah,
That could
exactly.
be another very
So
factual
it'd be like
video.
it'd be like me having an unboxing channel but not unboxing anything. I never upload a video.
a non-boxing channel.
A reboxing. I put stuff in the box.
Oh no.
Yeah, so like it just depends on the type of content that you're doing. And then if you're streaming, that's just like whatever you're comfortable with, like if you have like a 9 to 5 job or 8 to 5 or whatever, obviously you can't really stream during the day. So stream at night if you have time, like after you eat dinner or something, maybe like a couple hours before bed, or even just 1 hour, or even like 30 minutes or something, just like start off with a consistent schedule. Basically, it doesn't really matter how often it is as long as it's consistent.
Yeah, no, that's good. Machine, what about you? Do you have any input on that? And then I'll give my input.
Sure. So, I mean, I think to kind of piggyback off Joe there, authenticity is key. I think that, the most important thing about creating content in general is quality, being true to yourself and having that overall level of quality that people can continue to expect through your content. But I also think that there's a whole other game to content creation, and that's algorithms on the platforms that you're on. So when it comes to, if you're doing website content, you want to show up in search. So search engine optimization is important. Google has a lot of different metrics that they look for when they're looking at ranking your website. It's not just about keywords, it's about quality. It's about, there's literally hundreds of different scoring items that they have. If it's YouTube, they have their own algorithm. So I think it's finding that happy balance between, the authenticity of your content, the available time, like Joe was saying, that you do have to create content, and then understanding the algorithm so you can actually appear and people can find you, because that's very difficult in the beginning. Is really the trick to finding a following is really getting visibility. But when you're starting out, that's hard. So, and I think the schedule is critical, and I think you just got to stick to it.
Yeah, and that's really good. And like I said, if you missed the beginning of the podcast somehow and you skipped ahead, Machine is the one that designed my website, broadwaygothis.com, and it's really, really well designed, and we get a lot of compliments and a lot of praise from that. And so he definitely knows his stuff when it comes to that marketing SEO side. For my input on how often you should upload, I really think all of you guys said it, hit the nail on the head, or head on the well, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I
hit the nail on the
head. Nail on the head. I did it right. Good job, Adam. Obviously I'm not great at speaking, so don't do that when you're making a video, but no, that's seriously okay. But for me, definitely what Joe's saying of consistency is, I think, key. You don't want to, especially when you're starting out, you don't want to upload one video every 3 months. If that's what you can do, that's what you can do. But I think that if you want to really jumpstart your YouTube career, I'm speaking of YouTube mainly here, but if you really want to jumpstart your YouTube career, try to find something that's reasonable for you, maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I just think when you start getting into the span of once every 3 months or, things like that, I really think it can be tough to build a following. But like Machine said, you don't want to just make 4 videos a week and they're just crap. What that also, there's a lot of caveats to this, but what you also don't want to do with that as well, though, is be afraid to make content and think that it's got to be perfect the first time you do it, because it's not going to be. My videos starting out, both of me and Joe's videos starting out were garbage, comparatively to where we're at now, but they had good qualities in them, and there's things that we've learned from that. But I would say the biggest thing is consistency on the upload and quality. Like Machine said, definitely learning from mistakes for myself. You want to make genuine content for sure. Content that you believe in, content that is just, again, a quality product. And the last thing I want to say is that the reason some of these big YouTubers can post a video once a month, once every 2 months, is because a lot of these millions of subscriber YouTube channels, like the Spiffing Brit, I don't know if you've ever watched him, but anyone's ever watched him, but he's a really funny guy. He does he breaks games essentially, but his uploads, it's not once every couple days. He does them maybe once or twice a month, but they're high quality productions that take him a long time, and he has millions of subscribers. So it's each video he posts gets millions of views. And so you kind of have to look at it like that. If you're someone just starting out, you definitely want to get content out and just make sure it's quality, kind of like Machine's saying.
There is such thing as overproducing too. I have unfollowed people because when I go to my subscriber section in YouTube, it's I can't see anyone else I follow because they're posting 5 videos a day, and it's okay, now you're just getting kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. I don't have time to watch all these random videos that you just kind of threw out there without even thinking. So I think you just got to marry that quality with a decent schedule. And to Adam's point, I can't stress this enough, just getting started and doing it. Don't worry about your production quality. Work to your ability, but have the mentality that you want to continually learn to do it better. And that production quality will come, but the authenticity that comes in your early videos while that production quality isn't there are the reasons that people are initially following you.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I also want to piggyback off of Machine's earlier piggyback. Once you find a flow and you're able to be consistent and stuff, learning the algorithms specifically for YouTube with regards of thumbnail, title, tags, but also with when you upload are going to be really important for getting the most amount of traffic on your videos. Because if you upload it midnight EST, like everyone on the East Coast is pretty much asleep. So like you're missing out on like, let's say your audience is like teenagers or something, like they're not going to be up at midnight because they have school the next day or something.
Right.
So
know your
that's
audience.
something else.
That is a great
audience,
point,
basically.
actually. And you can check out a tool called vidIQ if you guys want to do that. It's a really nice tool that does analytics and piggybacking off of machines, piggyback off of Joe, piggybacking
Lots of piggyback.
off of that. So I've a triple piggyback here. Real quick, I just want to mention this.
I did not consent to a triple.
Oh my
piggyback.
gosh. Okay. Well, I'm piggybacking off of Joe because I do want to mention this before we get to the next question, because this is actually very important. You said, the thumbnail and the title. And I would say that if you're just starting out, that is the part of the quality that actually matters. And the most, I think, is finding an idea that you think is psychologically going to be something that your viewers want to watch. Like, obviously, when you're just starting out, you might not have any viewers yet, but that is where YouTube's turning to. It's not as much like I guess like searchable stuff. It's things that once you get a following that people really want to watch. They're like, oh, this guy's gonna beat Elden Ring with his foot. Oh, that's going to be really interesting. Like, they want to click on it, right? But then the title and the thumbnail is really important for that. You can't just slap up anything. That is something that you really, if you can learn that, that's a big thing. But
I just want to make one comment on
Essentially,
thumbnails before we move on.
Yeah.
Don't do the shocked face thumbnails. I'm just throwing that out there. I swear to God, like whenever I'm scrolling through videos and I see someone I'm like, okay, I'm not watching your video because
I'm doing the same face as you, Joe. No, that's funny. That's funny.
I tried how many Pop-Tarts?
Yeah,
That's exactly.
that's funny. Oh,
Don't
my
click
You'd
gosh.
never
people.
believe which toaster strudels are better than Pop-Tarts.
Adam fell off his mount how many times?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like giving people a question in your thumbnail and title makes them want to click the video for the answer.
Yeah.
So there's a little tip.
Make it like a
And
mystery.
also that whole thing about like when to upload and stuff, that not just applies to videos, but also like you could do that to streaming, but also for like if you're like an artist or something uploading like artwork on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, in
Yeah.
business, we don't do email campaigns on Mondays because everyone's busy on Mondays. We do them on
Yeah.
Tuesdays around 10 a.m.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then for the next question, from Man Cave Gaming, how do you come up with ideas for videos? And so
Adam steals them from me.
yeah, that is true. No, I was going to answer this one first real quick, just because it's fresh in my mind, and then you guys can kind of piggyback off my piggyback. But, oh my gosh. But for me personally, when I started making ESO content, it was just thinking of things in the game that could be a guide. So that's literally anything. And I mean, you'll be surprised in certain games how you can make a guide for literally anything. Like you could literally make a guide on how to walk in a video game. And
so
sometimes
true,
like, no, but I'm serious. That is like there, you can make something. And if there's a way to do something in a game, you can make a guide for it. So that was kind of my start. But as I started making guides for ESO, I started running out of ideas. So I started to think of topics or things that maybe people struggle with or people have concerns with, or certain pain points that are discussions in ESO, or just new ways to like relay some information that maybe I learned from playing the game, or X, Y, or Z. And then the last way that I get video ideas is I watch other content. I don't typically watch a ton of other ESO content. I see it sometimes pop up in my feed, but when I play other games, I see other content creators and they have like, okay, 5 mistakes that you don't want to make in this game, or they have maybe like just different pointers that they give people in their game, and I'm like, oh, I could do that for ESO. So that's generally where my ideas come from, watching people's content and generating ideas from that. And then plus just looking at the game and being like, okay, is someone going to be confused with this kind of thing? But I'll leave the floor up to you guys. Who wants to comment or piggyback off my piggyback?
Go ahead, Joe. You can piggyback next.
I'm not touching that piggyback.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know where it's been.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Do you want to comment on that, Joe?
Yeah, so like for the guides thing, like you might think initially like, oh, there's already like 100 guides for this game or whatever, you know, for especially like for this one aspect of this game. It doesn't matter. People are still going to click on your guide anyways. Like if you can find something that doesn't have a guide yet, that's a really great help, because that's honestly how Probably Got This like kind of got lifted off the ground. Was because the Taken King DLC in Destiny 1 dropped, and in that game there's an item called a Worm Singer rune, and everyone had videos on what you do with the Worm Singer rune, but no one had a video on how you get the rune. So I discovered how you get it. I made a quick video about it, and then it got like 200,000 views, and we had 1,000 subs by like the next day.
Yeah.
So, but then even after that, like we still like did guides or whatever, and Adam, you know, did his whole ESO thing. Like there were already people making guides on ESO before he started making guides, but like he still made them anyways, and like they got good views and stuff, and like that's how he like built the channel even further beyond. So yeah, just like, you know, even if you think it's already been done, do it anyways, because the way you do it will probably be different than the way other people do it, and people will still click on that anyways.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to, you know, approach it. I mean, you know, watching videos from other games than the one you're covering, just seeing how, you know, people are doing different types of guides. I mean, you're not going to be the only person making content for a specific game. There's going to be tons. But I think when people are following you, they like your personality, or maybe they like the way that you simplify things better than other people. And, you know, like for instance, if I'm trying to look for a new build, I like to go and I'll watch, if it's for ESO, I'll watch Adam and see, you know, what information he has. I'll go over and check out like Lucky Ghost, see what he has. You know, go over and watch, you know, a couple other guys, and it's like you really get a full rounded view. And sometimes where people are, when there's a new expansion, for instance, they may be curious what so-and-so's take is, and, you know, it makes it more unique. And I think, you know, if you're watching videos and you're just like, wow, I know how to do what this guy's showing people how to do, but he's just really overcomplicating it. And I think we've all watched videos where you're just like, man, this seems really hard. And then you watch someone else's video and you're like, well, wait a minute. That guy made it sound like there's 100 steps to accomplish this, and this guy made it in a format where I only have to do 5. So, I mean, just really trying to, you know, take a look and see what other people are doing out there. And then I think, you know, just do stuff that you enjoy doing. I mean, if you find that you're in a game you're playing, you're currently, you know, if you're in ESO and you're doing a lot of stuff with achievements, I mean, it's fresh in your mind, make a video about achievements. You know, and you can really just kind of domino effect into a lot of different avenues that way.
No, that's really good. And I would definitely stress the point on when you're trying to come up with ideas, like you said, Machine, is just find things that you enjoy doing, because I do think it's difficult. And I'm just going to say this, like, I think in today's YouTube, if you want to make a channel that is starting off the ground by just doing Let's Plays, you're going to have a really, really tough time, because Let's Plays typically now are not going to get traction. And they're just not, because they're a thing in, like, they were a massive hit in like the early 2010s-ish, like mid 2015, like, and you had all the channels like Markiplier, all these big Let's Play channels, and all the big Let's Plays you see now, if you literally go to their channel, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of subscribers, and they've been doing it for 10 plus years almost. And it sucks to sometimes say that, but unless you create something that is literally so groundbreaking in like a Let's Play scene, with just from, like I'm saying, like if you're just starting, it's going to be very hard to get off the ground by just doing that. So I would advise that you find something that is educational or searchable that people can at least find you in. It doesn't have to be a complete, a guide completely. It could be like a funny way to show like how people to do things, or show people how to do things like in a funny way. But I do think that is an important thing to note, because it's not easy to do Let's Plays on YouTube anymore. You just can't.
I think Let's Plays got replaced by streaming, honestly. I mean, the people still post them, but the only time I'm watching someone play something that's not on Twitch is if I missed a streamer's stream that I like and I'm watching a replay on Twitch, or if they posted their Twitch stream on YouTube,
Right.
and I'll watch that. I think, to your point, Adam, once again, piggybacking, it's more about guides. It's more about your opinions on certain aspects of the game. It's more about news and, like, I think, what's his name, Bellular is a great example of someone in World of Warcraft that, he's constantly releasing videos about how he thinks Blizzard's overall direction is with various games, talking about, news, patch notes, guides, builds, and then just having kind of almost like just being in like, what's the talking section of Twitch called? I can't remember.
Just chatting.
Just
Just like a just chatting type video where you're just someone mentions something in maybe Discord or in one of your YouTube comments, and you're just going to go off the cuff for 20 minutes about it and hear what other people think.
Yeah, no, that's true. And that is very true, because I think if you're not established, it's really difficult to compete with like a live stream that people usually watch now versus like Let's Plays. You have to make them unique, and if you have a following, like, then it's maybe you have a better shot. Like now, I want to kind of get into more discussion / funny satirical videos, but since I have a following, I have a little bit more of an advantage where I get maybe a couple thousand views versus someone who has 50 subscribers who's not going to get 15 views. And my video has a chance to reach potentially more people because of that. But I built a following off, we built it off of doing guides for the most part. But yeah. So the last question from Man Cave Gaming is, what is the quickest way to edit videos? And Joe, do you want to start with this one? I know typically, Joe, you're slower at editing your videos, but you do take your time, and you like to have things
quick with editing.
Well, I guess you're more slower with the recording side, I guess you could say, because you're a perfectionist, so you like to get everything perfect. But do you have any tips on that then, Joe?
Well, I mean, when the title of the video is going to be everything you need to know about blank, I want to make sure that everything you need to know is in that video.
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying though, but
so it's not even I'm perfectionist. I'm just thorough.
You are a perfectionist though.
True though, but I'm a god gamer.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna edit that out. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. Well, the best way to edit videos is brought to you by today's sponsor, Phil Moore. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Honestly, just like practice. Like when we first started, like I remember our first like video, or even like 2 videos or 3 videos out, where like you would come over with like your laptop or whatever, and we would like upload both of our like Destiny footage and like audio and stuff to your computer.
It was like a USB.
You would put it into Adobe Premiere, and then we would literally just like sit there. We would like watch it and then be like, all right, cut this part right here. Okay, and then we would watch it, and be like, oh wait, all right, go back. All right, now cut this part. And then we'll just splice that. Okay, yep. Okay, and that's literally how it would be. Like, it was literally just like watching like section by section. Be like, all right, cut here, and then just like watch. All right, cut here, and then now move this. Like, all right, get rid of this because we don't need that anymore because we cut that. And like even then it wasn't perfect because like our audios were still overlapping. It was just like the video,
like transitions,
cut, but not the audio. Yeah, basically, it was like jump.
Yeah, we had a lot of mistakes.
We still had the audio from both gameplay. Basically.
So pretty much how Adam's videos are now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Actually, it's more like the opposite. You don't even hear his gameplay now.
That's true. I don't have any audio for that.
But yeah, like now, like he could crank out that same video in probably like 20 minutes or less, honestly.
I mean, it comes with time, right? I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Sorry, go
practice getting used to like the software you're using. It doesn't have to be Adobe Pro. It could be, Filmora, or it could be like Sony Vegas or whatever. Or like
DaVinci Resolve is another one. Right, DaVinci Resolve's Photoshop, I think.
Or freaking like what's it called, like iMovie or like Windows Movie Maker
like
or something.
Microsoft
like, even
Paint.
those are probably
Microsoft Video Paint.
Dude, I've used Microsoft Paint for our thumbnails back in the day. Like,
I mean, to me, it's really about going at the pace of your skill set. Start out, you don't have to go right to Sony Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't edited video in years, but back when I was doing it, Microsoft had their, whatever version, whatever software they had to kind of be like the simplistic version of video editing. Start there. Mm-hmm. Let the platform you're working on help you out with things like transitions, and where it's more like 1Z, 2Z click things, as opposed to having to get in and really adjust every slider or really, get super detailed. And then as your skills enhance, then jump up to the next level of software. And that way too, you're not making an investment money-wise on buying some like really expensive software, package. And just kind of, let your skill set grow with the type of software that you're using. When you feel you've maxed out, go to the next level.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, I'm sorry, I have to keep saying that, but no, really, to go off that, I started, the first ever video I edited was on my MacBook, but I think I had it dual booted. I think it was either Windows Movie Maker or iMovie. I can't remember which one, but it was one of those. It was a free software, and I just learned how to do it there, and the next couple of videos were the same thing. I got Adobe Premiere in college, but we started, like Joe said, doing Adobe Premiere, and we were bad at it at first. It really is something that we didn't know the features of it. I would do, like, I didn't know about the cut tool, I feel like, in some ways, and I learned about the cut tool. I didn't know you could like splice certain audio and video, but like I've been doing that now for, I'd say, almost 7 years, or about 6 years. And you just get really, really good at it. But like Machine said, you don't have to start out on Sony Vegas Pro or Adobe Premiere. Find a free software that you can learn the basics of video editing. And then when you feel comfortable, I would say go to another software. But try to stay on that software and learn that software. Because Sony Vegas and there's one other one, I can't remember the freaking name of it.
The Final Cut.
Final Cut, yes. Final Cut, Sony Vegas, and Premiere Pro, they're all different, and they're going to be very confusing if you keep going back and forth. So I would say that get the basics down. There's a lot of free tutorials out there on how to edit videos. It's really, if you know how to put the video in your timeline, put the audio, and cut the footage, you don't need crazy transitions at first. You don't need, text over the video. Like, it's stuff you can learn along the way, because I'm telling you, the videos that me and Joe posted were not amazing.
No, you don't want to be going out there and Googling, like, what's the best video software, because what they're going to return is stuff that pros use that have already been in video editing for years. Burnout is a thing. You want to focus on making content. If you get one of the top tier platforms and you don't understand how to use it, you're going to spend more time reading tutorials than you are making content, and it may actually have a very negative effect on your mentality of creating content. You may think, you know what, this just isn't for me. It's too complicated. I can't do it. And you burn out and go do something else. Start simple, focus on your content, not on the tools.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to think, if you need help recording footage, just use OBS. It's a free software online that can record your video. Audio, you can use Audacity, free software. So there's a lot of free softwares out there. And yeah, I mean, like Joe and Machine are saying, just start somewhere. It's very simple to do that, and it will help you ease into everything.
And if you're on console, most consoles now pretty much have a built-in record system, so you could do that, or you could also just live stream to Twitch or YouTube or whatever from the console and save the VOD and download it that way too.
Yeah,
to get the video.
No, it's good. But yeah, so the last thing we want to talk about, Man Cave, thank you for submitting those questions. I kind of want to just ask Machine one thing here to kind of give us some final parting tips, because Machine has a lot of expertise in like the marketing world, like I said, and more the website world. And so I kind of just wanted to ask Machine if there's you could say multiple things, but if there's one thing you learned from creating your channel a long time ago, or just from you building websites or doing the marketing side of things, like what would you tell someone today that wants to start doing content creation, or what like tips would you give if you had to give, any?
I think we've kind of touched on this throughout the entire conversation. It's, it might start out as something like a hobby or something you're just generally interested in. But I know myself, I've when I'm watching Twitch or YouTube, I think like, man, could I go back and do it again? Could I go make a gaming channel or a streaming channel and make gaming my career? Or is it just for other people? And the answer is yes, you can. But you got to have a plan up front. You got to decide what you want this to become, and you got to set goals and you got to go for it. Because really, at the end of the day, if you want to make this a career, you have to treat it like a business. And a lot of people don't understand the business side of content creation if it's what you want to do for a living. And I think being able to ask yourself questions up front about that is very important. And you have to be willing to do things that you may not like doing to be able to succeed in that field. Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing going against anyone just starting out is time. It takes time to get a channel going. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, when I was introducing myself, I didn't get my first YouTube check till 11 months of content creation, and then I found a job, and I picked the job because it was a salary and I had a mortgage. So, in the beginning, you may have a full-time job right now. And like I know Adam, when you were streaming after you get home from work every day till 11 o'clock midnight, tired all the time, and that eventually you wanted to create content full time. Now the other aspect too is okay, if you're working full time, what can you do to supplement your content creation and get to a point where you can get self-employed even by taking the skill sets, maybe going to your local downtown area and looking at small businesses and creating websites for them, or managing their social media, kind of doing little bits of consulting and contract work to be able to pay your bills and control your own schedule so that you can focus more on creating content. Nothing in life is handed to us. I mean, you can't be good old blood, sweat, and tears trying to get something done. But as someone who has, tried, failed throughout my life trying to get where I'm at today, if you don't give up, you'll get there. Just know that you can do it. Set your goals, set your timeline, and be willing to do whatever it takes. There is, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow if you're willing to go through the hell to get there.
Nice, yeah. Joe, do you have anything to piggyback off that? Sorry, I had to say that.
You can't piggyback your way to success.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Like Adam
Maybe we should just start with that and end the podcast.
All right.
No.
Piggybacking of content creation. Yeah. No, I mean, do you have anything, Joe, that you want to add or?
Well, I mean, the question was for machines, so no, not really.
Okay, well, I just didn't know if you wanted to add anything, because that's a good point. And yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a lot of hard work and grinding. Like, if you're gonna do it while you have a full-time job, that's something I did, and it's a lot, and you have to make sacrifices. And I think once you get to the point of doing full-time content creation or just working for yourself, you really start to realize like how much you like working for yourself, and it's something you will try to continually do. But the biggest thing I want to emphasize, the machine said, is just knowing the business side. It's really important to know that this is a business, and like you have to treat it like that, because unless you just want to do it as a hobby, but I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably want to do it to eventually be like this be your job. So if you want that to be the case, you have to be very business minded. And I'm not saying that people early on in content creation, like I'm talking about the people that are really successful now, I'm not saying that those people didn't have a business mindset, because they did. But the thing that they had going for them was they were some of the first people on the platforms, and that did help. Okay, they had to definitely maybe not strategize as much. They had to maybe strategize to get to that point, but then maybe had to not strategize as much starting out, because it was something so new. But now when you create content, you want to start something, you really do have to put some thought into it. You can't just pick it up and just do it. Like, you really need to try to think about where you want to go with it, like Machine said, and make goals, because it's so many more channels now. And it's not just like, you can't just go on Twitch now and stream in front of 5 viewers and just blow up like someone. It's just not like that anymore. So yeah, that was my last little words. I don't know if you guys have any comments on that, but
Piggyback.
Oh my gosh.
No, I mean, I think it's at the end of the day, to your point, you're not going to know everything up front, so I definitely wasn't trying to come off as like, you have to be a business expert, and, like Warren Buffett to be a streamer. But like, you're good. That's going to come with time. Don't be afraid to network with other people in the content creation space, or other gamers, or get a mentor. If you're still in high school, or you're going to Voc school, go talk to your marketing and business management teacher. Just have conversations with people that are in spaces in life where you want to be, and then figure out how to apply that to content creation, and just have that mindset. When you're self-employed and you're doing it full time, you're accountable to yourself, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. When you're accountable to yourself, you create your own schedule, which is great. But if you're not self-disciplined, you can quickly become a procrastinator, and I'll put that video out tomorrow. Or, you know what, I don't really feel like streaming tonight. I'm going to go out. A couple of my buddies are going to go grab a beer or something. And next thing you know, you don't have any money coming in, and you've got to go back to work for someone else. And there's nothing worse. Let me repeat myself. There's nothing worse than being self-employed and then going and having to go back and work for someone again. It sucks. So take advantage of the time and dedicate yourself. Do your reps, and you'll succeed.
Nice. Well, we do appreciate you joining us this podcast, Machine. We'll definitely have to get you on again for some other topics, maybe some more comical topics as well.
Some more piggybacking.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't a lot of trolling here. I'd just like to take a second to just tell everyone, if you've been part of Adam's stream, that I really do enjoy the community. Honestly, like during the last couple of years, as we all know, with everything going on around the world, that's when I found Adam's stream, and through the stream, I met cool people like Joe and Almai and Sticky and Kenazev and just other people in the stream, and it's really helped me personally just be able to go into a community and have fun. And I think Adam's created a great community for that, to where people could just be themselves and have a good time and get away from the distractions of day-to-day things that are happening around the world. So hopefully they'll have me back on. I definitely would like to just do a straight up troll cast with you guys, and just Joe and I can tag team Adam, whatever it takes. Or piggyback them. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to
thanks
figure.
for having me out.
No, yeah, dude, anytime. And thank you, Franklin. Anytime, and yeah, we'll definitely try to find one that's we could do some fun with. But typically, if you guys watch the podcast, we talk anything about gaming. This one is mainly talking about gaming, but it's more the content side. But if you want to check out any of our other episodes, check out our YouTube channel, subscribe. You can check out our previous episode down in the description or at the top of the screen. You can check out our social media as well. Joe's laughing at me. I don't know why. But Joe, do you have anything to say to the viewers?
Franklin is always watching you.
Hey, Franklin is always watching you is what he says.
Making sure you dirty piggybackers don't piggyback on us without our consent.
Oh my gosh.
Did Franklin join Adam's OnlyFans yet, or?
Oh my gosh. I don't think so. I don't think we have Quaxley in there yet. But yeah, no, but Joe and Machine, it's always a pleasure. What were we about to say, Joe?
Nothing.
Okay.
You just said my name, so I said yours back.
Okay,
so.
Awesome. Well, we do really appreciate everyone coming out this evening or morning, whenever you're watching this. But we will see.
Not this afternoon, though.
We will see you guys on the next podcast, episode 66. But thanks again for watching, everyone. And you guys have a great night.